In today's video, I am going to be breaking down, of course, the top point guards in the NBA. So if you're looking to become a better point guard, this is definitely a video for you. So this first clip, we're looking at Steph Curry. Steph Curry is able to get to the rim very easily against his defenders. The reason why Steph Curry wants to get to the basket and wants to attack is because by attacking the basket, what's going to happen is this defender will be honest. He's not going to be always playing tight as we see here. He will start giving some space to Steph Curry, in which case Steph Curry is the best shooter in the game and will shoot that shot. But as we can see here, at this point in time, Steph Curry notices that this is the top foot. You always want to attack that top foot because it's going to take time for this player to turn. By attacking that top foot at that time, and of course that player reaching, that puts that player at a disadvantage, and Steph Curry is low. His shoulders are below the height of his defender's shoulders. That's going to give him leverage into his defender. But also his shoulders are pretty well over his knees and over his toes, so he is perfectly balanced when attacking that rim. At that time, he's angling his body into the defender so that he can get his defender into jail behind him. By keeping your defender behind you, it's extremely hard for this defender to try and block your shot, especially if you've got an open lane as Steph Curry does here. And at this point in time, we can see that Steph Curry is able to make that shot because, of course, that lane was open. Now we see Steph Curry attacking a player who's really athletic like Anthony Edwards, and at this point, Anthony Edwards does separate from Steph Curry. He creates that space by attacking and then pulling back. Because Steph Curry is such a great shooter, he's able to get that shot off over his defender and, of course, make it as well because he had the space. You have to be a 3-level scorer as a point guard. You have to be able to shoot that 3, you have to be able to hit that mid-range, and you have to be able to get to the rim. And we can really see the mid-range game with a player like Chris Paul. Here he's able to use that screen, and now he's got 3 players that are pretty much looking to defend him, and he has the attention of 2 other defenders on the opposite side of the court as well. But what does he do? Well, he notices that he's got a mismatch here. This player is going to be covering up top. This player is still going to be obviously covering here. He's got him. He's got him. This is a massive mismatch. So what does he do? He quickly attacks that top foot to create a new top foot and pulls back towards that right side. By doing that, he creates that enough separation between him and his defender so that now he can pull up for that mid-range shot. Being able to know and how to run the fast break is important. Chris Paul once again pulls the defender with him on a 2-on-1 and then drops the ball back to a trailing player who is then able to then finish at the rim. Being able to play defense is very important now. Of course, a lot of players or people will say, well, the point guard, yeah, he has to defend a player who's going to be essentially passing the ball the most. So we really need our best defenders being centers and forwards. But I disagree. The point guard is very important. Depending on how you're playing, if you're playing man or even a zone and he's stuck up top, he needs to be able to pick off passes. Here we have essentially a wing to point pass, which is one of the most dangerous passes in the game. Wing to point is crazy risky because you're basically going from a lower point of the court to a higher point, and if there's momentum of the defender trying to pull that ball out of the air, then that is what's going to happen if this player doesn't go towards the ball. As we can see here, JV doesn't go towards the ball. He leaves the ball exposed. His elbow is not even out to protect that ball. And of course, here we see LaMelo Ball able to pick that ball and go in for a dunk. And obviously, a point guard has to be able to pass. Now, here we see LaMelo Ball attacking down the middle of the lane, and he's pulling multiple defenders up. This player down here is very smart. This is a very deadly area of the court if you're playing up against a zone defense or even a man-to-man and you've got somebody driving down the middle. It's deadly no matter what because his man's going to be coming out to try and defend that drive by LaMelo Ball. Now, if you've got good court vision and understanding what defenses are trying to do to you, when that player tries to come up to defend you, and you have a player on the baseline, you can just pass down that ball and it should be an easy layup, or in this case, a dunk. And of course, being able to look away from where you're passing is, of course, very ideal as well because you can pull defenders away from that area. Something that a lot of players don't do and they need to learn how to do is when you're basically finishing at the rim, you need to be able to finish with both hands, left and right on both sides. In this case, he's using an inside hand finish because that will allow him to use his body to protect the ball from the defender from blocking him. So by using an inside hand finish is actually preferential in this situation. And of course, if you're a point guard who is at least thought to be a pass first or a very good passing point guard, when you're going on a 2-on-1 with, of course, a very good finisher, you can then get that middle man or the hedge man or whatever in trouble by doing fake passes, as we see here when he brings that ball over to his left side, kind of swings it out just a bit and brings it back to his right side. That gets that defender onto his heels and shifts him towards that defender or that player over here who's on your team, which will then open up a lane for you to then finish. So passing is obviously very important to being a point guard, but also knowing how to use fake passes. So here we see the defense running essentially what looks to be a 2-3 zone. This is something that I preach to my team a lot. If the ball is on this side of the court, in that area, cut baseline. If you're on this side, cut baseline. There's a massive reason behind it. Because the ball is close to the top, at least over here in this case, this middle defender is going to be a bit higher. Same as this defender in most cases. Even at the pros, they make mistakes like this. So by being a weak side cutter and cutting baseline, what you can then do, and you may need a call for it, get your hands up, things like that. But if you've got a point guard who can make very sick passes, you can get into positions along the baseline to be able to get easy layups like this. And if you're a point guard, you need to be looking for that. And then coming off of a screen, you need to understand how and what defenses are trying to do to you. So off of this screen and roll, he has a player who's cutting towards the net, and he's drawn 2 defenders. So you need to try and figure out ways of getting the passes through, and usually the best way is away from the defender. Here it's behind his back, but there's so many different options. He could have just went with a drop down pass right there through the legs, maybe over here, or maybe even over top, depending on how high this guy could jump. So because of that, you need to be able to read defenses and give yourself and your teammates options. I hope that this video has helped you become a better point guard. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.